Okay, here is going to be long form content per YouTube, blah blah. Since my audience is so engaging and so, I appreciate all of you guys. And a little bit of satire, a little bit of sass, but that's what you get from me. But I haven't done a long video on the Samurai, really explaining what it is and showing it. So that's what we're gonna do here today. So, if you look behind me, there she is, right? We know what she looks like, okay? Beautiful thing she is. Okay, let's start out with the basics here. It is, yeah, some may disagree with what happened here, and that's okay. That's okay. You samurai purists, I get it. I probably wouldn't have done it myself, and I didn't do it myself. But it started out as the 1987 tin top Samurai. Somebody previous to me cut it, shortened it, moved the back door, which you can see right here. It's no longer usable. Forward. If you come over here, you can see there's this sweet riveted on panel. If you look inside, you can see the seam, right? So basically, the back half is glued together and riveted together. But it works. It's mounted on the back. Don't get any weird rattles other than normal stuff. Anywho, 87 tin top Samurai is what should be on my pass. Previous to me, she was cut and turned into this little truggy. And if you look back at my older videos, and maybe I'll edit one in here, don't count on it. I'm not a very good editor, but I'll edit a video of it when I got it, and it just had the spare tire on the back, leaning there. And yeah, that's where we began. And I keep watching everybody, and I go off-roading, and I recover people. You know, with my regular Jeep, I go rock crawling, I go into the mountains if somebody needs help, whatever. So it's something I already enjoy. I build rock crawlers, and I rock crawl, right? And I recover people. So I was like, oh, well, I watch all of the big names, you know, Matt's Off-Road, Wrecker Rick, Trailmater, Bent Off-Road, Casey Liddell, Fab Rats, all the big heavy hitters. If I forgot your name, I'm sorry. And I was like, you know what? I may not have their budget, but I have a wheel, and I have a big old pile of scrap metal, and an extra winch. And that is where this came to be. I don't know how to turn the camera around once I start, so forgive me. But this is where all this came from. The scrap pieces, bits and pieces. So it started with this hoop right here. Goes up and over. There you see the new Warrior Samurai 12K. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. 87 tin top Samurai cut into a truggy thing. Then somebody previous to me, triangulated 3-link, 4-link, something in the rear, put coils in the back. So that's where I have this wicked approach and departure angle. And it had 6 5-to-1 transfer case gears and 513 axle gears. In some form of limited slip. So it did pretty good. It does pretty good already. Definitely needs some lockers or something like that. Man, I wish I could turn this daggone camera around. All right, hold on, pause. I'm gonna cut all this in. Okay, I got the camera facing the right way now. Okay, so what I was saying, 513 axle gears, 6.5 transfer case, 4-linked in the back. Okay, so I get it, I drive it, I wheel it, do a little bit of wheeling and driving with it. It's got 1.3 Suzuki 65 horsepower motor in it, and a 5-speed, and it works pretty good. Definitely doesn't go faster than like 5 miles an hour, but it does all right. So back to the build here. This hitching post basically erased all this. Was numero uno, first piece to, well, yeah, first bit to go in. Okay, and I got that in, and I already wanted to replace the shocks. It just had these little dainty shocks that didn't move, didn't have any travel, it didn't flex near as much as it does now. So I added this bar and went down to the top of the coil right here. Ignore these top bars, but just this bar so I can put the coils in. And then that's when we did the first flex test afterward. And man, I was impressed, big time impressed. It flexes like you see it now. For what this is, I'd say it does pretty good. You know, we're not going for a full-blown buggy, but we're going for capable. And right now, with what it is, it's capable. Anyways, this bar went in first, okay? And then I had this harebrained idea to tack this bar in. I was like, well, I'll just tack it in, then I can build my boom and kind of see where things are at. Well, lo and behold, tacked it in, tacked this big old hinge in, so this boom can move if I cut things. You know, it's got the ability to move, but we don't do that right now. So anyways, tacks became welds and welds became permanent. So that became a permanent fixture. And then we got the boom in, right? And then obviously the winch plate. None of these other bars were in, just the boom, this bar, and we tried our first lift. And my goodness, it went bad deal. So then I went with these bars, boom, 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 boom. Did some bracing down here, tried it again, went boom. It didn't fold over, but it bent more than I wanted it to. There was way too much flex in this bar for me to be comfortable. Well, one of the guys that I watch, Genius Man, the mayor of Moab, he's running chains up high. So I was like, okay, that's a pretty good idea. So I put the chains on and we try to lift. And mind you, our test is a 4,400 pounds cement block. And it moved. It didn't move a whole lot, but it moved enough for me to be bothered. And mind you, this bar wasn't in here yet. That bar wasn't in here. This wasn't in here. So what came next was these bars. Because my next thing was this right here was tacoing. So I was like, okay, let's put these in here, which really don't do a whole lot other than look real cool. So we put those in, tested it, still moved, wasn't happy. And that is where this bar came in. I had this, and I was like, you know what? That'll be a perfect thing to put in there, because then I can adjust tension, yada yada. So I put the bar in, put the gigantic ears on, put this puppy on, and boom, she's solid as a rock now. Like, it'll do wheelies before it buckles or bends anything anymore. And I'm super pumped about that. What we have back here for a pulley is some old V-belt something, works. And then I have this haggard little guide, if you will. And like I said, this thing's completely built with zero budget, zero. I've literally built this with spare parts, scraps, things I had laying around. No dollars have gone into this out of my pocket. Nothing but time and scrap. So, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty impressed with it and what it's become so far. The latest addition is this Warrior Samurai 12,000 pound synthetic rope winch. And what we did is this thing had a receiver hitch in the back that it would run the mud flaps, because I guess somebody would drive on the road. Well, I took that out and I found a piece of 2-inch square tubing, pounded that in the existing, and it was a real nice tight fit. I welded all the way around the square and then all the way up here, both sides, and then where this plate meets the frame, I burned it in all along the back, top and bottom. It's not done because I want to run some gussets. So for one, I have to cut this off. I have to cut this back some because I have a receiver hitch that I can bolt in here, and I can actually accept hitches, pintle hitches, and all that jazz. But I want to run some gussets the full length on both sides, maybe some out here, and then I'm gonna almost cage it, but maybe not cage it. But I'd like to bring a bar basically straight down into this pocket here, come straight up, obviously not block the samurai, so maybe right here, run a bar that intersects here on both sides. Not only does that protect the winch, but it gives me some more bendy support. So that's that. Moving on. The remaining 2 inches that this unit needs is right here. Badlands makes a very, very cool winch in my opinion. It is a 5,500 pound short drum winch, so it will fit perfectly in there. So I'm going to build a box coming off the rock sliders up and maybe angle a little bit depending on the dimensions. And I'm going to have a Badlands 5,500 pound synthetic line winch right there and a matching one on the other side. And then I'll have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winches that I want, because I think 5 is good, and I'll have another one right there. And then the next thing metalwork wise on the outside is, I've said this on the lives a bunch, but we're going to take some 120 wall, 1.25 or 1.5 inches, I can't remember what it is, but it's going to come off of here, follow the body lines down, and tie into these things right here. And then we'll have a crossbar, bonk, and maybe another one, bonk, and then probably another one right here coming up and over. And then it'll go from there to the rock sliders and be tied in that way. And then once we get the winches in, it'll be tied in right here. So if you're following me here, we're building almost an exo cage. Rock sliders tied into the frame. This will be tied into the frame, winch plate, crossbar, and then the spare will go right up here. So, yeah. Oh, and then I have this way weird off-brand 13,000 pound synthetic line winch. If anyone knows the contact for anybody, well, I can't remember what they call it, but they get rid of all the metal components. It'd be nice to get rid of them. But we built this winch plate ourselves in-house. It's not done, but it does overlap here quite a bit. And then it's welded along the bottom. So the rear bolts of the winch go through the frame. The front bolts just kind of fit. And I'm sure the welds look atrocious, like always. But this has a trussed front axle, heavy duty steering, YJ leaves. I need to get some Alcans. But the whole point about this is I just wanted to give everyone an update on the Sammy. Also, we're going to do some sort of box here for some nice LEDs. Maybe get rid of the zip ties. And then it's also going to get Prius power steering or some. I just got those Toyota axles with the nice steering and hydro assist ram. That'll be a winter project. It's not like this thing's doing a whole lot of recoveries right now anyways. But that's subject to change. The hunt's coming up. People are going to be more out in the woods. It's been hot, so I don't expect them to be out right now. But this will be under the knife in the winter. I'm going to order a Barnes coil kit, and we'll keep the coils in the back. That was the big debate. I got the new link bars, or the lower links, these ones, because these are like less than ideal, but it'll get XJ 6-inch Rubicon Express front coils to go in the back, because if you see that there, that's a problem. These coils just absolutely buckle under the load. So I figure if I take XJ 6-inch Rubicon Express fronts, you know, take the weight of that 4-liter in the front and all that, whatever. It'll get those in the back, and then it'll get that Toyota 8-inch rear diff with the 529s in the rear locker. It'll get that Toyota front 8-inch with the, you know, the 6-bolt high steer and trust and It's just a more handy, better axle. And then I have those 17-inch Pro Comp bullet hole wheels that'll go on those axles. So if anyone wants these Sammy axles when I'm done, they'll be available. I don't know what I would use them for if I didn't sell them, but I'll probably keep the wheels and tires. But the Sammy axles with the high steer and the 529s will be available, or the 513s will be available sometime this winter. But anyways, new links in the back, XJ coils in the front, Toyota rear diff, Toyota front diff, 2 Badlands Apexes on the side, more metalwork, more frame stiffening, fish plating, exo cage, all that jazz. That's what's coming up. I don't really have any plans for the Jeep because it's perfect the way that it is. There's no better way to say it, but the Jeep is boring, it just works. This, on the other hand, this is a blank canvas and I can glue metal together all day with it. So stay tuned. This thing's going to be super underpowered but super well geared. It'll have 37s or 40s and a 65 horsepower motor and a lot of gearing. I also have Toyota 22REs that I've been contemplating putting in here with Toyota dual cases and the gears. Thought about all that, thought about TDI, thought about even the V8, but really this motor and training and gearing setup honestly works, and I think the 529s out of the Toyota axles will complement it. Oh, I forgot to, there's Tom Woods custom drive shafts front and rear. But yeah, that's a big update for you. The GMC is broken, still getting the front end rebuilt. We're in the midst of trying to figure out a build for a heavier wrecker. Right now we're just outfitting the ones that we got, ready to, handle as much as possible. And the way that I think about it, if I'm having to pull something 4 times my weight up a hill, at least I'll have the winching and the frame stiffeners. I can Spider-Man into a group of trees or really anchor this thing down and use the full force of the winch without worrying about dragging myself to the problem. Another thing that we're working on, and I'm sorry for being scatterbrained, just trying to get a video out. It's a rough day to be a unnoticed content creator today. But anyways, I'm gonna build something with a handyman jack, and it'll slide in there, and it'll come out almost like a pitchfork, but angled back, that I can adjust with the handyman until I get, or maybe I'll do it hydraulic someday, or electric over hydraulic. But basically it's going to go into the receiver hitch, and it'll be upside down, and if we need a real heavy pull, it'll be a spike into the ground, so this thing can't, crush the suspension, and it can't, flip over. So that's in the works. There's a lot going on. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep posting. I'm going to keep doing all that. Long form is not my cup of tea. I'm still using my iPhone. I have a GoPro. Haven't even taken it out of the box. Just be patient with me, and I promise I'm too annoying to not, become successful at this and make, at least cover the gas money. That's all I really want. Tires and gas. That's what we're here for. Plus, I think it's cool, and 171 of you think it's cool too. So share this with your friends, like, subscribe, comment, do the YouTube thing. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok, even Facebook. Haven't been able to work out any brand deals because I'm not noticed yet, but we're doing things, and we're going to keep doing things, and we're not going to stop doing things. So please join us, see what happens. If you can, watch this music video all the way to the end. I'm going to try to edit some before pictures in here somewhere, and yeah, I'm trying to get my watch hours up. Monetization for YouTube, if you don't know, is quite the goal for a small person. It's no easy task, but we're working on it. We're clicking our way through, and we're going to get it there, by golly. Also, any suggestions for like a catchy outro? Like, we'll see you next time with Cash Off-Road Recovery, or that's all, or I got nothing. Teletubby themed, maybe. That's all, folks.